So I'll talk about uh, some news related to the space industry. So I think about in the beginning of this month, on March 2nd, I think so. So there is a company called Firefly Space. So they have just a minute. Let me just open this up. So this is the company, Firefly Space. So on 2nd of March, they successfully landed their spacecraft on Moon. Okay, so the name of the mission was the Blue Ghost Mission 1. Okay, so as per this summary, the mission was launched on 15th of January and it landed on March 2nd. So the objective, okay, first of all, let me tell about the bigger picture of this. Why is this project relevant, or this mission? So you might have heard of the NASA Artemis program. So this is a program that aims to build a sustainable human presence on the moon, and the longer far future objective is to create the uh, uh, use moon as a base for further missions to Mars and so on. But anyway, the first objective is to again land a human on the moon by 2026. I think so, as per the timeline. So by 2026 by the September of 2026, that's the timeline. So some historical perspective is that so far 12 people have walked on the moon so far. The first one was obviously Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin in 1969 on the Apollo 11 mission, I think so. Yeah, and the final person who walked was on 11th of December 1972. So since 1972, no person has gone to moon, at least walked on. So the program of the Artemis program is to bring back humans to the moon. So what they are doing is that for this mission to be successful, of course, they have to know a lot about the geography, the geology, and the surface of the moon. They have to conduct multiple scientific experiments and so on to understand better about the moon, so that they can then plan their mission according to that. So that's very obvious, because if you want to plan a mission to a different planet, or at least a different celestial body, you must have a better knowledge of. The better your knowledge about the system is, the better is the chances of success of the mission. So to that end, they have announced a program called the okay. So yeah, they have announced this program called CLPS, called the Commercial Lunar Payload Services. I think it was announced back in 2018. So the objective is to hire private companies, that launches robotic landers to the moon. And these robotic landers contains NASA's scientific equipments. So they are the carriers of these of NASA's scientific equipments, and those equipments now they conduct the research and so on, and provide data back to their whatever the mission centers. So that's the objective of CLPS, to hire private companies to launch lunar landers, small robotic landers, which carries their scientific equipments. But at the same time, it's not just these robotic landers do not exclusively carry NASA's equipments. They can also carry their own equipments, or from other other companies, they might also put their own scientific instruments in their equipment. So that is also a possibility. And yeah, so that was it. So this mission, which I mentioned, Firefly's Blue Ghost 1 mission, it is one such mission as a part of the CLPS initiative. So again, this their objective was to conduct various experiments and send back data back to Earth. So what if we look at here, it says that this mission completed more than 14 days of surface operation. So what this is, this 14 days is Earth days, but for Moon it's what I've learned is that it's one moon day. This is equivalent to one moon day, because after that they have a what's called they have their night phase or whatever that's called. So in that case, they do not have any more sunlight into them, and the temperatures go very, very low, minus 100 degrees Celsius, something like that. So it's very difficult for any equipment to survive under such low temperatures. So all of this mission that they have done all of the research they had done throughout the mission was done within this 14-day period, and as they have mentioned, only for over 5 hours into the lunar night, because in the lunar night the temperatures, as I said, it goes very, very low, and there is practically no chance of survival. So as they have said that what's called, there is a part of the team that is responsible for checking up on this robotic lander, and they will, as part of their mission, they will again check back on April. I forgot the exact date. What was the date? But that is the date when the lunar night will be over and they will come back again. So back when that happens, they will try to communicate with them, because it's not a 100% guarantee that it will fail. There's a small chance that it might survive too. So, but they are not hoping that it will survive. So their plan doesn't include that. So if it survives, good thing. But there's no realistic chance for that happening. So that was the news. So overall it was a success. They provided about 119 GB of data from the whole mission. So it was a success overall. And on the same week. So this was on 2nd of March. On 6th of March, another mission took place, and another spacecraft landed. It was from another company called Intuitive Machines. It was their second spacecraft that they landed. But unfortunately, it couldn't land properly. It's what's called a hard landing. So it landed faster than it should have. And they tried to revive it, but they couldn't. So that mission ended in failure. But this was Intuitive Machine's second mission. The first was on February of last year, February of 2024, which was a success. They again did all those scientific experiments and back data. So the first mission was a success, but unfortunately, this second mission, it was a failure. They couldn't successfully do the mission. So this was, and again, this is all part of the NASA's Artemis program. These are all small robotic landers doing some scientific experiments and sending back data. So this was all about this mission.
So why can't NASA do it themselves?
So one practical thing that I think is that they are funding these projects, or at least they are awarding. I won't say funding, but they're awarding contracts. I think so. Technically, they are the same thing, but one of the things is that they are outsourcing such things, because a single company, I think this is a very general concept in business or business in general, is that if you specialize in something, you should do it, and if someone else specializes in something, They should do their own thing. So instead of NASA putting in their own manpower on the specifics of how to design a robotic lander and so on, they're outsourcing it to companies. They're giving their money, but they're outsourcing the technical R&D, research and development, to the companies, and they're focusing. They're keeping their own talent base on the core mission objectives. I'm not sure that's the real logic, but that is my interpretation, or that is how I perceive that why they are doing this, outsourcing it to other companies instead of doing that on their own.
But like they have previously also sent rovers and stuff to Mars and other places, right?
Yeah.
So it is very much in their own expertise to build another rover to send to moon to collect data.
Yeah, that's possible, but
I think are they trying to save time or something?
Yes, most probably that's the case, because again, from my point of view, it makes sense. One, again, from the economic point of view, from the, again, it's a US is a capitalist economy, so there will be various corporations in there. So a government agency won't be doing many of the things on their own. And secondly, as I've said, expertise. That's the thing. In all industries, not a single company. In most industries, a single company doesn't build the same thing. For example, NVIDIA designs chips, TSMC manufactures it. Everybody has their own core competency of expertise. So to be successful, for a company to be successful, two things are very important. One is money, and the second one is expertise. So somebody might have the money but may not have the expertise. Somebody might have the expertise but may not have the financial resources to it. So in such cases, two or more than two entities, they partner among themselves. The one says, I have the money, you have the expertise, let's collaborate, let's do it. That will be the best possible way of getting the desired result. So again, since they are conducting scientific experiments, so I think NASA is more concerned with the actual science behind those things, instead of focusing more of their intellectual effort in building the robots. They are saying that, okay, there's a private company, let's give them money, let them build the robots, okay, and I will just focus on the science. I think that's their rationale behind this thing. And moreover, as we have seen that that humans have not been there since 1972. So at that time, because of the competition between USSR and US, they had this incentive. But as soon as that incentive went away, there was no further further advancement in this thing. But if you go to private industry now, these private companies will have competition within themselves. So that will ensure that this race doesn't die out. They will continue to outdo one another, and overall this thing will keep on growing. So what else do you have?
Recently, there was an announcement from NVIDIA regarding Newton. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
So like all the robotics announcements, if you see the movement of the robots are very janky. Even if they can do quite sophisticated movements, like the one you did martial arts, whatever else, but still it was quite janky. So according to their announcement, I think it's a collaboration between NVIDIA, DeepMind, and Disney Research is also involved in some way.
Yeah.
And they have developed something called Newton, and it is an open source physics engine which will develop or simulate the movements of robots, or the movement basically. So I think they also announced this robot called Blue, which is like one of those
small robot.
Yeah, Wall-E, Star Wars kind of robot.
Yeah.
But so I think that robot was running Newton. So it will teach, or basically the engine or the software behind the movements of the robot. It will simulate, or you
The
can,
physics behind it.
yeah, the physics behind the movement of the robots.
Yeah.
So it can teach how to move like through different types of motions, whether walking or periodic movements like waving and so.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that it is the learning for the robot is happening in simulation first before, rather than through the robot. I think I don't know how other robots were trained before, but maybe they were trained once the robot was built through trial and error. So the robot had to move its hand multiple times to learn how to move the hand properly.
Okay.
But now I think through this kind of software or engine, you can do the training in simulation and then just push it to the robot. As long as it has the mechanical components and stuff, it will immediately know how to move. You don't have to train the robot.
Okay.
I don't know if my understanding is completely correct, but based on what I've read, that is how it sounds like.
Yeah, even today I was reading about it. Let me see. Just a few moments ago. Yeah, this was the article, I think so. It is also part of NVIDIA announces Isaac Root N1 and simulation frameworks. So, what you have mentioned here, the Newton. So, it's part of this Isaac Root 1, Root N1. So, I think that's the foundation model, and Newton is the physics engine that simulates the physics under which they are training the whole model. I think even that's what my initial understanding is. So
yeah, there it says right, the age of generalist robotics. So maybe when you're building a robot, some company is building a robot, you have to specifically train the robot to do some movements. Maybe through this engine, you can simulate what you want it to teach and basically like download the movements to the robot. You don't have to worry about teaching it the movements from scratch.
yeah, to me this feels like the same things that are being done by Gemini Robotics and Agile. What was the name? Figure One's Helix. The previous videos that I showed you.
Yeah.
That kitchen refrigerator sorting things, and so those are again, what was it? Vision language action models. So I don't know if this is the same thing.
I mean, I think it differs in the sense that the movement it is focused. At least the Newton is focusing on how it will move after it has understood what to move or how to move.
Okay.
The vision action model will understand its environment and figure out what action to take.
Yeah.
But then to take the action, how smoothly will the hand move and the movement, the physics aspect of that is, I think, part of Newton.
Yes. Okay, I get it. I mean, okay. So the vision language action model is the system that takes in input through language or through vision and makes a decision about what to do. But how good it can do it will depend on models like Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think those are not competing models, but part of the whole what's called tech stack or whatever it's called. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So that was about Newton. And next, I think in China, Tencent has also released their new reasoning model called T1.
Tencent. So okay. So is this the same one done by Quen, or Quen was from another company?
Quen was Alibaba, I think so.
Okay. Quen was by Alibaba.
Yeah. And Tencent they're releasing T1. Basically, they're also saying it's a much upgraded, faster version. I think they are saying it can compete with rivals like DeepSeek.
Okay.
And from China, we have seen quite a lot of foundation models coming up. Yeah, Point, DeepSeek, Tencent, this one, and there's one book called, I don't recall it now. I think it starts with M something.
What company?
Company or model, I'm not sure. Marcus or something. Maybe that is also from China,
Okay.
or maybe it's one of the product names. But yeah, like we have like three, four good foundation models from China now.
Yeah. So yeah, but so means Europe had certain companies like Mistral, but now they are. I mean, they are still there, but they are not longer. They are not at the level of the OpenAIs and the
Yeah, like they have
and
not discussed much.
yeah. I mean, even means they are. I think so. They are also open source, but so far the concept was that open source models existed, but they were nowhere as good as the OpenAI or Anthropic's models.
Mm.
So unless until DeepSeek came along, so that was it. So
But Meta has been open source from the beginning, their models.
yeah,
And I think most open source models are using their platform, something, the Llama, Olama.
yeah.
Olama is the tool you use to build or run open source, any open source LLMs.
Yes, I mean, I have used it actually. I built an RAG, a very small project. So the things I had to download through Ola model. I think one of Llama's very small model I downloaded, and I made this app. But again,
Mm.
it takes, I don't know, even to create a vector embeddings for that, for text to create into vector embeddings, it took about 3 hours or so just for that.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, like the hardware, it will depend on the hardware.
Yeah. Okay. So
So,
maybe
yeah.
uh, maybe in one of the session I will discuss about how I build that thing. But yeah.
Mm. Those are the stories I had.
Okay. So one last small story about. I think this will be the last one. So I read this article about India's Hyperloop. So
Yeah, that's just in this.
yeah. So what the story is that uh, the IIT Madras is working on this Hyperloop project, which is said to be Asia's largest one. Right now it's 410 meters long, and it will be so an additional 50 meters will be added, so it will be a total of 460 meters, and it will be the longest one. So even though it's from a technological or engineering point of view, it's a good one. But this whole article questions the practicality of this thing. So what it says is that uh, this such kind of hyperloop projects have been abandoned several times throughout the globe due to its infeasibility and astronomical costs associated with it. Companies have either shut down or shifted focus after fatal accidents. So the whole object, I think, okay. So first it was an announced by Elon Musk. Again, the thing is that he made it popular. So
Mm.
one common thing that I found about Elon Musk so far is that most of the time I think that he was the first one to do it. But again, mostly it's he's the one who popularized things. So it says that while Musk popularized this technology, the concept was not invented by him, as many believe. So even I thought he invented Tesla, but oh, sorry, not invented, started. So, but actually he acquired this company or bought this company from someone else. But anyways, the concept was that he proposed this technology that people it's a means of transport through which where people are sent through pods in near vacuum conditions, and the core technology was magnetic levitation, and I think it's probably underground. Okay, okay. So that was the idea,
Mm.
but the concept was that it was this concept has been there for a long time, but again, it has never been practically made. So it was never practical. So it says that there are a lot of experiments and prototypes, but again the concept was that, but the result was that they never achieved the, the amount of speed that they were trying to achieve. So, and one example they have given here is that Hyperloop one. This okay, so they tested. Uh, yeah, this was the only human test, one of the tests. They did a 500-meter long run, and they achieved the speed of 175 kilometers per hour. So this is a, so the thing is that most trains have been traveling at the speed since the 1960s, and even I think that there are so many trains, I think so, in Japan, which reach speeds up to 500 kilometers per hour. So what's the practical use of such kind of technologies if there already exist other means of communication that are faster than this thing? So that's one thing, they haven't reached the speed that they're trying to reach. The second thing was about the safety. So how safe is this kind of mission? So that's the main idea that they are trying to talk about here. And so yeah, so the final question, the final thing that that's said is that, is it even worth to allocate money in this kind of projects? So that's what it's said here. Does India have the time and money to invest in a technology that has been misleadingly projected as being around the corner for decades now? Okay, and should this be India's priority, taking away attention in an okay. What's this about? Okay. So from what I understand, India has invested this in Hyperloop technologies. So, which also means that they are taking away this amount of investment from the railway industry of India, and the railway industry of India is already overburdened. So the author here is asking the question that, should India spend so much money on such kind of speculative technologies, while we already have a specific, we already have some existing modes of transport, which is already overburdened? Shouldn't we instead focus on that thing instead of such kind of speculative technologies which may not even be feasible or practical? So that's the final question that the author is trying to ask. So yeah, so that's about this thing.
Yeah, because the already existing modes of transport are already lacking in different ways.
Yeah.
But those things are perfect, and those things can be maintained well. Maybe you can focus on something else.
Yeah.
But the fundamentals are itself not right yet.
And even if there was promise about these technologies, even then this would have been justified that, okay, it's a young technology, but there is promise in it. But from what I have read here so far, it said that there isn't any future promise as to either. That even trains themselves are better than this thing. So there's no practical future promise about this thing. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
So trains are better off here. So anything else do you have to say?
No, nothing from me.
Okay, can end it.
Yeah.